So welcome back to the social class for class 8. Yes, the last session we was on chapter 7 of history for class 8. Here we found that weaver, iron smelters and factory owners. We found that in India the commodities what they are producing are good in quality, and due to that cause it was in high demand in European market, especially in international market. So due to that cause, the demands in India was so high that especially they can produce a luxurious good, especially owned by the queen, like the high class people. We also found that the Indian textile in European market especially refers regarding on like indigo. You may remember that in the last third chapter we already studied the indigo plantation also there, which they are like, and demands are very high there. We also found that who were the weavers, especially which we refer like Tanti, Momins, Julas. They are especially skilled and specialized on the particular product, especially found in West Bengal. So we found it that in Europe the people's demand so high the Indian goods, and due to that cause the peoples of, especially in Europe, in particularly in England, the peoples of their countries are started to go agitations and go against the government to importing more goods from the other country, because high qualities of the Indians that they are unable to compete with them, and that's why they want to be abolish the import good from the other country, though they want to be export the goods to the other country, but the importings they want to be abolished that. That's why they started that, and that's we refer them as the Calico Act, especially named after that. So after that act, the British governments now how much they have brought from the other country, that was decreasing there, and whatever they remaining in there, whatever productions are there in country, that's they are want to be give it more privilege. So due to that cause, what's our impact on that, that we will see today. Today we will discuss on the declinings of Indian textile industry, and cotton mill come up in 1854, and the soul of Tipu Sultans and their wood steels and irons and steel factories come up in India. So as for that, we have already said that the declinings of the Indian textile. So Indian textile, why it was declaring there, the past point it was very clear, because the peoples of the Europe, especially the Britain, they want to abolish the importing goods from the other country to their country, because they are lost their business and their productions are not purchased by the factory owners. So that's why the first point is that they want to abolish and import from the other countries' good. So that is the one reason that which they are declining of the Indian textile. The second point, in the second point we found that India, the mass productions are there, and I think you remember that if you are watching the video properly and carefully. In the last sessions I already said that the modern technologies are utilizing more in due to the inventions of the industry and setup of the industry in Europe. Now their productions are in huge, and within the short periods of time they can be produced more with compared to the handloom. So with compared to the manually work, the machine made are productions more there, and now they are including and adding more designing, coloring, so which are prepared more by the people, and that is one reason that which they are unable to compete with the machine made productions, which they are using the machineries and the mass productions are there, and that is we found that the people are unable to compete with them, and ultimately slowly and gradually, which took more time to making of cloth like 2-3 days, and due to that cause, due to that time, the peoples are shifting their demand to the machineries. Besides, we also found that which they are done by their own hand, that means manually work, are more higher price with compared to the machinery goods. So in machinery goods, they are producing a huge amounts of cloth and goods, and within short period of time, and as well as they are decreasing the price with compared to the manually work. Whereas there we found that the more time they are the more time which they are spent on the making of the cloth, as well as after the completions of the cloth, they are sold them into the market in the high price. So there is the major regions which we found the decline of the goods, especially which they are exported from India or made by the hand. Next, we'll see that's on the cotton mill come up in 1854. So in your textbook, if you are studying, they are like the names are mentioning like Solapur, Madura, South India. Their productions of the cotton mill, cottons are more there, especially which refers to the textbook like Khadi gradually become a symbol of nationalism and a core center, especially making of the three colors of the flag. But the demands are high in India itself, and the price also very high, which compared to the machinery and machine made. And we already found that the decreasing of the demand and ultimately they are collapse up. But in the later sections, if you study, when you go to the higher class, you will study there like in the past session, you may remember that we discussed regarding on the spinning genie also. So in Europe itself, when in Europe, all the peoples are not produced by the machinery, but some peoples are there who are working on the manual also. So ultimately we found that especially those manually laborers who are made their clothes by hand, now they started to be combining together and they are go for the evolutions of the machineries. Now they are trying to be destructions to the machineries because their goods are not sold in the market. So as we seen that the goods are not brought from the India in the Europe, because due to the peoples are demanding their government to be importing more goods. So the British government feel that they have to be set up industry and factory itself in India, and first cotton textile mill was started in 1854. So this cotton textile mill was started in 1854 in Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, and later section the second cotton textile mills in Kanpur, then in Ahmedabad also they are set up there. So gradually one after another in a year they started the textile industry in India itself, so that the raw material which they got from the Indian, which they are producing in India itself and sold their goods to the Indian people, as well as which they can be export to the other country for the finished good also there. So this is their basic ideas to set up of the new industry and factories, especially the textile industry in India. Next, that will refers to the yes, in textbook it is already given that like in Kanpur 1861 it was there, and as well as the grown of the cotton more in India, laborers are abundantly found there and populations are very high there. So due to that cause it's good for the industrialist people which they are already set up in India, factory and industry. And another side we also found that the taxation system, the tax which we are taking from the India after sold their product in Indian market, now they are rising them also. So this is one reason that is directly or indirectly affected more to the Indian people, because the cottons and raw materials are producing in India, the factories are set up in India, but some laborers are working from the Indian also in that factory, but another side they are asking the revenue, the tax system. So both sides you can see that the Britishers are earning profit on that. The next is on the sword of the Tipu Sultan, and that swords of Tipu Sultans which are made up of the wood steel, which was very strong steel, and still it's said that after the 100 years also that swords are as like the same. So that means we can say that quality which we get from the Indian and the productions and produced by their own hand, manually work, are more stronger than the machinery made. So overall you can say that the cotton or either the raw material like iron ores, whatever we are get from the Indian soil are very good in quality, and that's are working more. Next we'll go for the last topic for today, that is the irons and steel factories came up in India. When it refers to the irons and steel factories in India, mostly irons and steel factories found in the Chotanagpur plateaus, like in Jharkhand, Orissa. So all those areas are where the iron ores are get more there. But if you study the textbook here, it's like written in the forms of the history, how the peoples of the Europe, they come to the India, study the topography, and they found Algeria where the coal mine areas are there, and they export them. And after that, slowly and gradually the productions are started there, which is known as later TISCO, Tata Irons and Steel. So these TISCO companies are very large companies, especially which are very helping to the Britishers, especially during the past World War also. So there are many questions. If you go to the higher class, you will see that the Tisco companies are expanded, especially during the past World War time. In 1904, this industry was first time set up. That means they are locally localized the area, and especially the mass productions are started from the 1908 and 9. The productions are started there. But here you already know that the past World Wars are started here. Due to that cause, the demands are more high, like makings of the railway track, like makings of the guns and ammunitions. So they're demanding then supply the goods to the other country also, like where the colonials are set up by the Britishers. Because all the Britishers are engaging in war battlefield. So they are unable to produce in their country. So factories are destroyed. So due to that cause, wherever they have the colonial, like in India, so in Asia and Africa, most of the countries are colonized by the European country. And that colonial, they set up the industrial factory and make them to be produce good and supply them, and they are using them into the war battlefield. So that's why, especially the irons and steel factories come up and really helping them during the past World War also, in which I give the examples of the Tisco company. And there are many companies are there. India after that also set up there, and they are expand because during the past World War they are encouraging to set up more industrial factory and make them to produce more there. And here we found that the benefit for the India. Now how it's benefit for the India? One side, when there is set up the industry and factory, the employment, who are laborers are from the India. They can be work and they can be earned. Besides that, we ourselves now producing the goods more and more there, and we are supplying them. So through that also we get some money. So it's benefit for the both, especially for them and as well as for us also, especially for the Indians. And Indian, it's more benefit, that means advantage are there. Now slowly and gradually the industry and factories are set up more and more there, and productions are more there. So that's all for the today. And once you study the textbook, and after you study the textbook, if you have any doubt, any problem, you can be ask me. And I don't think so after you study the textbook it will be make such a big problem, because I didn't go to the textbook sentence by sentence, line by line. But what are the important things which you need to know, that I already explained here. So, but also if you have problem, then you can ask me. And if I interact, especially in classroom, so then I can be explained through textbook more there. But I was sending through the video, so that's why I try to comparize and make it to in the short video, so that you can understand more there. So some of the names and the industry, the people, area, so some things are there that some I have missed out. So that's after you study and after watching my video, it will be more clear for you. So for today, that much only here. And if you have any doubt and any problem, then you can be asked me. Thank you.